Hey there, all you queens and cryptids, and welcome to Queer and Loathing, the only podcast that your mother warned you about. I'm your host, Brett Bodie, and with me, as almost all the time, are my co-hosts.
I'm Mel.
Wow. I'm Samantha.
The shade of it all. Yes, so we are back in the studio after some experimental recording, and we're here today to talk about Longlegs, the relatively new release, written and directed by Osgood Perkins. Released by Neon just a month or so ago. I'm going to throw it to you, Mel. What would you like to say before we get into it?
Well, I want to say that if you want to hear Brett and my immediate response to this movie, you should listen to our previous episode. I think it was called Brett and Mel Presents Just Yappin' or whatever.
I think that's what it was.
We had just seen it. So we have not a lot, but a few of our immediate responses to it. But yeah, I enjoyed this movie. I love this kind of shit. Do I think it's the best movie I've seen this year? No, of course not. But I love a spooky, atmospheric, sort of nonsensical supernatural horror movie. So it's my shit.
Yeah. All right, Sam, why don't you tell us about the build-up to seeing this movie and what a great time you had.
I did it. I saw it by myself.
Which none of us wanted her to do.
No,
I mean, I would.
We explicitly told her this is not one to see by yourself because it's so spoopy.
And to be clear, I've never gone to a movie theater by myself and seen a movie by myself. But I was like, it's happening. I'm not sick from COVID anymore. I haven't been anywhere. I need out of my house. Redacted being watched by Redacted.
Yes.
It's still daylight.
Yes, that's probably an important factor.
And I was just I was doing so well not riding the wave of FOMO for 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And
when you were out with Plague.
And I was like, all of my friends have seen it. I don't have anyone to see it with. And so I was like, I'm just going to go. And I had forgotten that I did also give my friend the Plague. So he had not seen it. So I saw it a second time with him later. So I did have someone. But I was very nervous going in because I'd heard the trailers I thought were really cool.
Yeah, it was a good marketing campaign.
I do want to talk about the marketing later.
Yeah, trailers were cool, and then it was supposed to be scariest movie of the year or whatever.
It was this year's that movie. They got that type of marketing of the scariest movie since The Exorcist.
I'm sure we'll have another one near October.
Probably.
But yeah, I went, and I tracked my heart rate because I always wear my Apple Watch. And looking at it, I got it to 108, which.
Okay.
That's the highest it got.
Oh, that's not bad.
To be clear.
Yeah.
I started off pretty scared. Was a little pissed. Ooh, side rant at both movies. These Gen Z, they need to be taught etiquette. Yes, both showings. The first one, somebody was vaping. And I was like, do we do that here?
That'll happen.
In front of me?
Yeah.
And me? Me?
In front of my salad?
In front of me? So I was shocked by that. And then the second time, there were these two girls, my friend and I went to the theater and we were just sitting there. We were the first two there. These two girls come in, sit in our row. The whole theater's empty. We're like, okay, but that's it. They never move. The whole time they're on TikTok or something, playing stuff.
I don't
recording
understand.
Things, talking. And I did consider giving them the old shut the fuck up. But I was like, I don't feel like being recorded.
Oh, they would have.
Literally, that was just
I'm sure they would have.
I cannot do this. So I was like, I'm happy I've already seen it. Sorry to my friend. But those bitches were fucking annoying.
I move. If I'm in a semi-empty theater, because I've had this happen recently, it's not just Gen Z. It's any time you're at a theater that isn't an Alamo, they're just people being loud and whispering, like stage whispering and talking, and I'll do the theatrical glare at them.
I do. I shoot
I was
dirty looks
looking.
for sure.
And then I will sometimes say something, but if I feel like they're gonna, I don't know, because there are people who've been like literally shot in movie theaters in Texas for
about that too.
arguing.
And
So
that
like,
could be you. That could be any of us.
you know, there's worse ways to go.
These two little Gen Z girls may have had guns. I don't know.
I mean,
don't
probably
put it past 'em.
not, but like they
know.
will record you and say mean
Yes.
things.
Yes.
So like I will get up and just move because like even if
Yeah.
it's one of those theaters where you buy a specific seat, if someone comes in to talk to you about it, they're not going to.
Right.
But if they did, I'll just be like, well, those people over there aren't shutting up, so
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm moving. But I'm sorry. that
Well, next
happened
time I
to you.
will move. Well, next time, now we can go back to Alamo.
Yes, Alamo
Right.
is
So-
reopening.
Yes. Thank goodness.
You know, which I was on a roll, and then the whole Alamo of it all happened. And sorry, Cinemark. That's where I saw Longlegs twice. But yeah. So besides my heart rate going up for those two different incidents, I was not that scared.
Hey,
I was not
look
that
at
scared.
you.
I was like, ooh, it's kind of creepy. And I know we'll talk about the various different things about it, but I was proud of myself, and I clearly got bored at one point because my heart rate went straight
Way
back to
down.
normal, and I was just like, I'm a little bored.
That was when you were scrolling on TikTok.
That's when I thought about it.
That's a really important part of Osgood Perkins movies.
Yeah.
Is when you get so bored.
Well, I
Yes.
will say the first time I was really there were things I'll say about this movie that I was pretty unhappy with, but the second time I enjoyed it a whole lot more. And I got
Okay.
to appreciate like there's a lot to it I really liked. I liked the cinematography, loved the start of it. I was really happy with the beginning. And then I was like, I'm bored. I get what's happening, and it could have been done better.
Yeah.
Sure.
But it started off
I
strong.
think that's fair.
I would say that sounds like
Yeah, I think we'll...
a general Osgood
Yeah.
Perkins kind of experience.
Because I also went to see it a second time, and I fully fell asleep in the theater. I did. Like, not even nodding off.
I
like,
got sleepy
slept
second
for
time.
Like 30 minutes.
That's funny.
I woke,
but yeah,
I woke up and I was like, oh, I didn't get to rewatch the scene where they find the doll in the barn because I just slept through the whole thing. I was trying to do a double feature, so I went to see Twisters and then Longlegs for a second time.
Yeah.
And I didn't.
That's called a speedball.
Yeah, I think we were at it. But what about you, Brett? I think that was it. Speedball.
As we said, Mel and I saw this like for my birthday celebration. We were in the theater. The scene starts. It's the little girl, and she like sees the weird car out front, so she kind of goes to investigate. She's got her little camera, and then Nicolas Cage as Longlegs, the serial killer, is like behind her. He kind of startles her. She turns around, but you really only see his like lips and below, and he's doing this kind of like weird voice, and he's got like lipstick on. And Mel and I kind of exchanged a look like, oh God, is this going to be like a Silence of the Lambs, like
Oh yeah.
trans murderer? At least that was what I felt our
Our
look was about. We were
I
just
feel like our whole theater responded to Nicolas Cage's character kind of in that way. I mean, maybe not like them worrying about it.
yeah.
But like it's impossible to talk about this movie without talking about the choices that Osgood Perkins made in crafting the serial killer that is Longlegs.
Yeah.
And I do want to talk a little bit about, I don't think there's like too much discourse here.
Well, and as the movie went along, I felt that less and less. It was just kind of the tone it set with like the lipstick in that opening scene.
I got a little
was
nervous.
like, I that's what I would say too. I got nervous.
I was like, oh God, did he consult J.K. Rowling?
Right.
Oh no.
Robert Galbraith, you mean?
Yeah, right.
That's J.K. Rowling's pen name.
Oh, thank you. I was like, I
When
don't
she
know.
writes her transphobic crime thrillers.
Gotcha.
Yeah. She's very normal and well adjusted.
Yes.
I do think we should talk about Nicolas Cage in this movie. I like the performance. Also, it's not a trans character.
Yes.
Right.
That's
So
like-
as the movie went on, I was not thinking that anymore because it didn't read as trans at all to me.
Like, I think if you just like don't think too hard, maybe you could see it similarly to being like a Buffalo Bill, Silence of the Lambs sort of thing. But he's just like super obsessed with like glam rock.
Yes.
That's why he's like that.
Right. It's more about the aesthetics of glam rock as opposed to any kind of gender identity anything.
Yeah.
At least that's how I understood it. So I
And that's it.
so I was concerned at the top of the movie, but then I was no longer concerned.
He's just a weird guy.
So you know what? I think that guy might have been a little strange.
Just like
little
someone's-
bit.
There was something a bit off about. I can't quite put my finger on it.
sometimes someone's just subtly a little off.
But he sure brought his long legs that day.
Is that at the beginning, the only time, well, besides his name, what was he like saying a poem or something, and that's where you hear Longlegs?
Oh, I don't know. I think it, from what I understand, Longlegs was just like a creepy name that Oz Perkins came up with, and it's not supposed to be that significant.
I mean, he does say daddy.
Yeah.
Daddy
sure does.
Longlegs. I don't know.
Yeah, right. There's definitely a daddy connection because the MO of this serial killer is, so full spoilers, he's like a satanic doll maker
Yes.
who worships Satan, who is very real and has powers in this movie.
Yes.
So he like will get a doll inside of a family's home.
A doll that looks just like
The daughter.
the daughter whose birthday is on the 14th of a month, and it's within a certain number of days
Yes.
to that birthday. It's very convoluted.
But that doll in the home, the devil or whoever possesses the dad of that family to kill the rest of his family.
It kind of possesses all of them.
It does, but the dad is the one who does the killing. But yes, you're right. It does possess all of them.
That's like the basic plot of this movie is you have what's her name? Micah Monroe is the FBI lady.
Yes, she's Clarice Starling.
She's Clarice Starling, and they're trying to figure out how there are these murders that all seem connected because they have literally like a letter from Longlegs at each one. However, Longlegs does not seem to be physically at the site.
Yeah, they never found any DNA evidence or anything from Longlegs at any of these.
Yeah,
he's not directly killing, but he is the killer.
And that's kind of the mystery of the story.
Yeah.
And yeah, they're not little, they're like full-sized satanic dolls.
And they are so cursed looking.
Yes.
And it's so funny when that, I don't know, scientist FBI guy was like, it's so beautifully constructed. And I was like, well, I guess beauty's in the creepy doll eye of the beholder. Because I didn't behold it that way. I didn't behold it like that.
No.
Oh, then the twist ending, I mean, you can see it from a million miles away, so it's not much of a twist. But Micah Monroe's character was the little girl at the beginning. She grew up to be an FBI profiler, but she like had an encounter with Longlegs, and her mother made a deal with Longlegs that that the mom would be his accomplice
to save Micah.
To save Micah Monroe as a little girl and like keep her alive and like save her soul.
Insert Sam's big eye roll here.
Oh,
Why?
really?
I'm gonna go off on that later,
Okay.
probably.
Oh.
But yeah, I guess my question was like, how is that gonna work? Because like, was there a dad in the picture? If the dads always are possessed and do the killings, then what was the plan?
I read it that was one of the first ones. Was it
Okay.
not?
No, I think it was, but it still just seems like it was the only deviation from that MO.
Oh.
Like it was the only
'Cause
one
there
that didn't have
always-
the dad.
There was
killing the
always a family unit with
Right, but this
two
one it seemed like it
parents.
was just the mom and daughter, which you could say that like that was the point, is he was just recruiting the mom. Like it was almost like a fake out to like get her to be his accomplice.
I think
I don't
you're
know.
making a really big mistake in how you're approaching this movie, because I think you're doing a little something called thinking too hard.
Ooh.
I suggest
You know what?
you just let those thoughts exit out of your brain.
Just drift on out of my empty mind.
And it will help you enjoy this movie a lot more. Because, this movie, I think the more you think about it, the less, brilliant it's going to... I mean, I don't know. I don't think this is a brilliant movie. I think this is, just a creepy, weird, little, mysterious ghost story.
Yeah.
Why does Satan do what Satan does? I don't know. That's not what this movie's about.
Yeah.
Creepy dolls with weird, haunted metal balls in their head.
Haunted metal ball brains.
And you don't want to think too hard, make everybody crazy. Micah Monroe, is her brain haunted? She just autistic. Unclear. Don't worry about it. Let the movie wash over you.
I think
ocean
you're
waves.
right. Yes.
Yeah, I think because, yes.
It didn't pull me out of it during the movie. It was just something I thought about after.
Well, there are movies where the more you think about it and the more you pick it apart, the more you're like, wow, this is masterfully constructed. And every single piece of this puzzle is there for a reason. I could be wrong about Longlegs. I just don't get the vibe that this is one of those movies.
I just think Osgood Perkins could really use a co-screenwriter.
A script doctor?
Yeah.
Well, like,
yes.
I think Longlegs could have been a good movie, or because I think there was too many things going on, I think it could have been a good series. I think if you kind of spread out the ideas and developed certain things more, like how quickly, like, oh, she's in the FBI. Oh, her big case. It's her mom. Like, I was just like, I'm so annoyed. Like, there was good stuff here that could have been developed. And it was just like, let's just throw it all together and make this movie happen. And I will say, even though, what's his face? How did I forget his name? Nicolas Cage. I was going to say Mr. Longlegs was creepy as fuck. Daddy. I was like, the character's interesting. Yeah. Like, I could have seen, I want to know how he became Longlegs. Like, and how the two are intertwined. That's coming next to your
Longlegs origins.
I don't actually want more. Oh. But like I could have.
Too late.
Is it happened? No.
Longlegs origins : day one.
I think it was a good idea, and it just wasn't molded together right. Some things were too rushed. We got too excited.
Who's we?
Everyone.
Oh, I disagree. Like, I think I like a movie where sometimes the audience isn't privy to the deep lore. We don't know why people are the way they are. I mean, yes, this could have been tighter. I agree with you there. But, like, I do not want an extended series where we find out how Longlegs became Longlegs. He's just a weird... Oh. Doll makers, I think, are just like that.
Less that... I was more thinking the agent, Lee Harker, more interested in her story, but with the Longlegs of it all, like, maybe it could have been, like, hinted at. But whatever. That's just me.
I mean, I think you're right in the sense that, like, that would have been maybe like a stronger, I don't know, more well thought out story. But I don't know, I watch so much like small, I think that's what makes this different than a lot of what we watch, is that this wasn't a small little movie released directly onto Shudder. Because that's kind of how it felt to me. Besides, like, well, I don't know. I almost said besides Nicolas Cage being in it, but holy shit, is that guy on direct to like Redbox shit. So strike that. But like, to me, it just felt like sort of a low-budget horror movie that, like, some small director created with his friends. And what to me felt really strange was that it was as huge. Like, the marketing was huge. As you said, Sam, everybody saw this movie. Everyone was like, oh, it's the scariest movie since Silence of the Lambs. Which is like... I guess you can just say shit.
Lie.
You can say shit.
Yeah.
Just say whatever the fuck you want.
Our listeners know you can just say shit because that's what we do.
Yeah.
What?
So I was going to say I really liked the kind of like what I felt was the fake out of the movie, which is that I didn't know going in that there was going to be an actual Satan like supernatural angle.
Yeah.
I knew that there was like a satanic serial killer, but I didn't know that meant that like there would actually be like magic and possession happening.
I love that.
And right at the start, I was like, oh, they're making Silence of the Lambs again. Like we got the plucky young FBI agent who's trying to prove herself, and she's got her mentor figure, and she's trying to crack this case of this on the trail of this serial killer. And it was even set in the 90s, much like Silence of the Lambs. So I was like, oh, okay, we're doing a new spin on that, and I think that's cool, and I was excited to see where that went. But then it was revealed so quickly because she is on like she's canvassing a neighborhood with her partner, looking for some other killer, I guess. And she just like knows which house the killer's in.
It's like the third scene of the movie.
Yeah, it's like right at the beginning, and she like knows. She's like, oh, he's in there. And the guy's like, I mean, probably not, because like, what are you talking about? But sure, I'll knock on the door.
He's like, bitch, we just got here.
Right.
What are you talking about?
And you are so spacey, right? And like you took 17 Xanax before coming to work, and I don't know if you should do that at the FBI. But then, so he knocked on the door and then was just murderized because the killer was in there. Yeah, just killed so dead so quickly. And then after that,
they do the like Ghostbusters test.
Yeah, it is. It's a Ghostbuster test where they're testing for psychic ability. And she does get like, what, half of it right?
Yeah.
So they're like, well, half psychic's better than not at all. But I actually really liked how that worked. I actually loved that because you think that she's psychic. And then at the end, it's like, she's not psychic at all. It's just been like the devil like pulling her strings the whole time. Because she describes it as like feeling a tap on her shoulder. Like how her senses work.
Yeah.
But I think it's like literally a tap on the shoulder from like Satan being like, check this out.
Her, like,
you're
that clicks for
you're a piece
me
on my
better.
chessboard, and like
Okay.
I'm moving you into position.
Like there's
And that's how it's been her whole life.
There's like a doll that has like, it's never explained, which again, I do like. Where there's like a doll, again, I mean, we've been spoiling the show, this movie.
Yeah.
So just deal with it. But like there's a doll somewhere that like has part of her, I'm assuming like soul or something in it. It's like a voodoo doll type of thing, or it's like connected to the child.
It's got part of the smoke monster from Lost in it.
Yes,
Yes, it does. In the brain.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
Smoke monster in the brain.
Yeah, that's been in the basement, right? That doll.
Yes.
Longlegs' lair, which is her mother's basement.
Which I liked that
Me too.
reveal.
Essentially, she was like the man downstairs, is what they kept talking about. And then you find out that, like, it's not just Satan. Like, Longlegs literally has lived downstairs
Yes.
this whole time.
I love that. And I did want to say about the psychic thing. I don't believe,
And psychics?
no, that the FBI would test people for psychics, but I 100% believe the CIA would.
Yes. Oh, yeah. For sure.
Ooh.
Like I was like, nah, like FBI, like I just don't see them doing that. CIA, 100% would be like, yes. How do we make her more like psychic?
Right. The big, how much acid do we need to give her to make her maximum psychic?
Like give her,
MK Ultra shit.
yeah, give her like a shit ton of psilocybin and unleash her in like Venezuela.
Let's go. Well, Brett, I'm happy you mentioned that stuff because that actually makes me feel better for how, like, the whole connection to her mom and all that stuff. Because I'm like, well, what if it was Satan's handiwork, and what if she was meant to, the very end, go off with Agent Carter's daughter? Both little Satan's princesses, I guess.
Right. Well, I think it was implied
I didn't
that
get
kind
it.
of like Longlegs just totally won. Like,
Yeah.
in no way did anything happen in like the whole movie that like wasn't supposed
Right.
to happen, or like that he wasn't planning. Because he was also saying like when I die, like I'll still be, a little bit of me will still be everywhere.
And I just took that as a creepy man saying creepy things.
Oh, I thought it was like the devil is like
ugh.
spread now, and it's like whatever like demon thing that was in him is now just everywhere. And like there's part of it in Micah Monroe, and there's part of it in the little girl that she saves at the end. And now is Micah Monroe's character gonna go on to like be the new Longlegs and like do Satan's bidding to protect this little girl?
Oh.
Maybe that's kind of how I took the ending, was like now she's her mom and the little girl she saved is her. And she couldn't, like, she wasn't able to destroy the little girl's doll at the end. Her gun was empty or jammed or something.
Yeah, it wasn't working.
So she couldn't shoot it. So that was how I took it. And I thought it was a cool ending. Because I don't know for sure that's what happened, but that was kind of the sense I got from it.
FBI agents are so stupid. Sorry. I just like
They really are in this movie,
They're
especially. I
No,
think.
they
But
are.
our specific agents who tail us,
Oh, yes.
you are great.
No,
Yeah.
you're also stupid. Like anytime I like watch something or listen to something that's like about like FBI
Oh, yeah.
agents, like especially the ones trying to do like COINTELPRO now and like are trying to like, I don't know, like they just sound so fucking stupid. And just thinking about like, oh, my gun's jammed. It's like a ceramic doll.
Right.
You just break it.
Yeah.
You just smash that into the wall.
You could smash that doll.
Yeah. I guess
You just could have hit it.
but I guess
Take it to the bathtub and just whack it.
yeah, just whack it into the side of a sink or something, or
Yeah.
a coffee table corner. People die all the time in movies like that.
Come on, Micah Monroe. You could take that doll.
You could take it
You could take that doll.
like a 4'1", beautifully constructed, creepy ceramic doll. Like I could take it.
Yeah.
Like I don't think I could take Satan, okay, but I
Yeah.
could take a satanic doll. I think. This is not a challenge, satanic dolls. Please don't come to my house.
The Olympics are happening now, so I feel like I can do anything, to be
Yeah.
honest. It's so,
You're inspired.
you're just like, they can do that. What if I trained hard enough?
I'm
What if I
excited-
could throw the hammer?
I'm ready for them to introduce that event at the
Yeah.
Olympics, the ceramic doll smashing.
no.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm starting my training now.
That would be the one thing that would get me to actually watch the Olympics, is if there was ceramic doll smashing. Who can destroy the haunted doll that's like compelling you not to destroy it first?
Give it 20 years.
That's what they say about sports being mental as well as physical.
Oh yeah.
Because the doll is enacting its evil will upon you to not destroy it.
Yeah, so what we learned from this is that Micah Monroe's character would be bad at tennis because it's a mental game just like tennis. Something I wanted to talk about is the choice of having Nicolas Cage in this movie.
Yeah.
Because I think, like, it was part of the big marketing push. Like, unless you're literally, like, me or Brett or someone who watches just a ton of horror movies, you probably don't know who, like, Micah Monroe or Osgood Perkins are. Like,
Yes.
You don't know
I
who they
knew
are.
Osgood Perkins because of Legally Blonde.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So just wanted to get my credit in as well. Thank you.
Yes.
So noted.
You knew him by name from Legally Blonde?
I knew, yeah, because I'm always in the IMDb.
That is true about you. Yes. So having, I don't know, Nicolas Cage in this movie, I am a big Nicolas Cage stan.
Mhm.
I think that he is an extremely good actor who has to be wielded responsibly. Like that's what I think.
Yeah.
He's a powerful weapon and you can use him wrong and he's happy to do that. Like, my guess about Nicolas Cage is that he doesn't say no to projects. He says yes to everything that comes his way. God bless him. He's got to pay for all of his weird, like, shit that he owns.
For his like castle and his first edition comic books
Yeah.
and his alligators. Or
He
whatever the
doesn't
fuck he's
want someone to come
collecting,
repo his monitor lizard, right? Or like whatever the fuck he has. So like he says yes to everything. And it's kind of given him this reputation among normies that he's like a bad actor because most of the stuff that normies see him in, he's not really being a very good actor. He's just saying his lines, how he's directed to do it. So I think like everyone, especially in the aughts, saw a million god-awful, terrible Nicolas Cage movies like Next or I don't know.
Ghost Rider.
Oh God, Ghost Rider was so bad. Like
Ghost Rider 2, Spirit of Vengeance.
Sorcerer's Apprentice or whatever. Bangkok Dangerous. Oh my God, he was in a million.
no.
He's been in a million movies, but he is actually genuinely an incredible actor and is beloved by, I think, a lot of really good directors who see that in him. And I would not say this is one of his best roles, but it's how I like to see him used because he is willing to do it. Whatever you want your actor to do, where they release their inhibitions and they go all out, he does it. But there are definitely some movies where he's not that good in them. But yeah, no, you're right. Like, he's been on the up and up in the sense that, like, I thought Pig was an incredible movie. Mandy, I'm a huge fan of his performance in that. Like, I don't think anyone could have made that movie as good as it was without
That's
him in
become
the lead.
like the quintessential like Nick Cage performance for me, I think, is
Yes.
Mandy.
I think he's so...
He makes that movie and it is so good.
He's so good in that.
I really liked him. I mean, he was unhinged. Did I like him? Nah. But I liked his acting. I thought he did a great job of being unhinged. I was creeped the fuck out. The second time I went to see it, I'd already like read some article, which I won't source because I don't remember which one, where he was talking about how he didn't want to play a serial killer again because it like really took it out of him and it was so uncomfortable, or like it took a lot. And then I remember thinking like, well, he didn't actually kill anyone. But when I saw it the second time, I'm like, yeah, I can see how that took a lot out of him. I can see why he doesn't want to do it again. Like, he was acting for his life.
Oh yeah, and some of these actors, like I know kind of famously Evan Peters of American Horror Story fame and all that, he played Jeffrey Dahmer in that Netflix Dahmer series, and apparently like had a terrible time and like had to go on like an acting hiatus, and like now he won't play roles like that, at least for the time being, because it was just so horrible for
Alex
him.
Wolff have something similar after Hereditary?
I think so.
Because it was like deeply upsetting for him.
Yeah.
There's that scene where Longlegs is going to like the hardware store and there's like the teenage
that
girl.
one.
Like, I don't know, man. Like, that would freak me out.
Yeah.
She was so like blasé
It's
about
like that
it.
weird guy's back. And I'd be like, way free. Like, it's not just how you look. It's like the performance too.
Oh yeah.
And the performance is so odd that it feels more real, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like you've just not seen that. Working in the service industries, you encounter some fucking weird people you have to
Very
be
true.
polite to.
Yeah.
And you just kind of hope that they're not agents of Satan. You have to like desperately hope they are neither an agent of Satan nor an agent of God.
Yes.
Oh, even worse. Oh, God. Well, on that note,
Okay.
Samantha, you want to
Yeah.
give us
I
a
have
little
an
ad
ad. I have an ad for us. Okay. Topical. This episode is brought to you by being both biracial and black.
Oh,
I know some idiots are pretending to be quite confused these days, but it is possible to be more than one race or ethnicity. In case anyone here, either of you or our audience, is confused and tries to cancel me again, like last episode, I am here today to come out to you now as black. And I know you might ask, Sam, aren't you biracial? Well, yes, though I am biracial and the beautiful shade of a decadent Coke milk,
oh, God.
I am black.
Don't do that to yourself.
So, please use offer code Drink Coke Milk and Don't Be Racist, or code Sam is Black to get a 0% discount on wherever you try to use this code.
Wait, I have a question.
Any thoughts on this can be sent to queerloathingpod@gmail.com.
Yeah, okay. Longlegs, more like wrong legs, because there was something wrong with that guy. Longlegs, more like prolong legs, because that movie was too long.
Did you like my Letterboxd review?
No, I didn't see it.
You did. You replied to it.
What did I say?
I was like, Osgood Perkins, more like Oz Freak Weird Kids.
Oh, yeah.
And I got one like, and it was Brett.
It was me, and then I didn't remember it. Long legs, more like strong legs, because you gotta have strong legs to cart those dolls around.
Oh,
That's a good one. Keep going. These are great.
They are great.
I think he's now thinking about them in real time, just so
Yeah.
people know.
No, all of those just came out of my mouth.
Oh.
Long legs, more like long shots, slowly panning
Well, yeah.
into corners.
I mean, yes, that actually does bring up something that I do want to talk about, which is the cinematography of this movie, and really all of Oz Perkins' movies. And I love it. I absolutely love to watch his movies because of like this almost like 70s inspired. It's lots of like slow zooms onto like
Yeah.
a wintry scene, or there's a slow ominous pan across where you're like, something is wrong, but I don't know what it is or like if anything's even here. But it's just like in Oz Perkins movies, it feels like anything could be lurking anywhere.
It's
The whole time, and
it's-
usually there is something.
Yeah, usually it's either a Satan or a ghost.
Yes. Oh.
Or maybe a both.
Ghost Satan.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, and it's like both cozy and unsettling, if that makes sense. The way he like films.
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's like why
Oh, it's
people
masterful.
why people like his movies.
Yeah.
Like again, like I don't think every movie needs to be like a masterpiece. I don't think
Yeah.
every movie needs to be really good. Some movies I think just need to do the thing they wanted to do.
Oh yeah.
And I hope Osgood Perkins wasn't trying to make the most like masterfully written movie. But if he wanted to make just sort of a creepy, like atmospheric, spoopy, satanic movie, 10 out of 10.
Yeah, atmospheric. I you know, I am one who is scared of a lot of things, and I did think it was creepy, but it was beautiful. Like just the slow shots of the snow, and just
Yeah.
the old. What kind of car is that? What is that? That
Oh,
Longlegs was driving.
The sedan thing.
But yeah,
Yeah.
with the like wood paneling.
I wanted to talk about the wood paneling of the movie because there was some. What the fuck was that scene where she's like, "Oh, there's something in the woods. Let me get my flashlight and run out and leave my door open, and then I'll come back and I'll see a letter." I was like, "Girl, there's no way you would become an FBI agent with that little amount of self-preservation instinct. Like,
No,
how
they-
have you even been like? How do you not get robbed and mugged every day?"
This is what I'm saying about FBI agents.
Yeah.
I think they are stupid. And I think this is a real portrayal of
Okay.
how a stupid psychic, maybe borderline neurodivergent FBI agent would be.
Yeah.
Really good at cracking codes, not super good at shooting dolls.
Right. But is alive just because she has a gun, not because of any self-preservation survival instinct.
Also, how is she... I guess, again, we shouldn't be asking questions. That's
No,
the
I
wrong
like these
thing to do.
questions.
How does she afford that house?
I thought the same thing.
Do they really
nice house.
pay junior FBI? Because she didn't inherit it.
No.
Her mom lives in, like, a house
A formerly nice house that's now kind of like a hoarder's.
It's a hoarder house.
Yeah, it's like hoarded out and, like, is the kind of house that, like, someone on a single, like a working mom on a single income in the like 70s could have bought.
Right.
Supplemented with a tenant in the basement.
Those kinds of dolls, though, I bet those you make bank.
I'm sure you do, actually. I would imagine that like a handcrafted doll like that would go for a lot.
Just like the coroner said, or whoever's looking at the doll,
I
whatever
would
it
have called the
was.
coroner too, but I'm like, it wasn't a dead body, it was
Right.
a doll body.
Like, beautiful work.
I think it's just like a forensic
Yeah,
scientist
I think
or
you're right.
whatever. But
Oh, and then he was like, sometimes I hear it telling me to kill my ex-wife.
Yeah.
Ha, just kidding. Or am I? All right.
again,
cackle.
believable that that's the guy working for the FBI to me. Yeah, I don't think they pay like junior FBI agents enough to have like beautifully, like architecturally.
I know. Her house, I mean, it was
Impressive
small,
home.
but it was so beautiful. And I think she had like it was on a big lot too. I don't know.
Well, like, you know how we were talking about how Satan was guiding her, maybe with her, like, psychic abilities.
Satan got-
she, like,
Satan-
went to the casino.
Oh, I was going to say Satan got her a low interest rate.
Or,
Yeah, I was
yes,
thinking.
yes.
Yeah, I
All
was
of
thinking
it.
that she goes to like she goes to Atlantic City and she
Yeah.
just feels Satan's
Yeah.
like, oh God, she's doing it again. He has to like go stand behind her while she's
like-
like playing roulette and like
Yes.
puts his hand on her shoulder when she's like, red or black.
And I do have my rant at some point.
Do it.
Do we
I'm
want to
ready
insert
for
it now?
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
do it.
Oh my God.
Let me get ready. I
We're
mean,
off to a good start.
after the first watch, I was ready for this rant, and I was like on a walk, and I was like, I got to record my rant, or else I'm gonna forget everything. And so I'm sorry to anyone walking by me when I'm just loudly talking about Satan and possession, but whatever. But
You were the long legs.
I was like, you were that person's long legs of that day.
that's fine. I'm not very tall and big and black, and I don't scare
Wait, I
people
thought you were
at all.
biracial.
I am black and also biracial.
Okay.
But I am black.
But when
I'll
did
go
you-
back and listen to the
And
ad
not
again.
Indian. Never once did I say that.
Well,
so.
when did you decide that?
When did you become black?
You know what? I guess recently, since I heard we had to officially declare it.
Okay.
So we're all coming out now.
Yeah.
But yeah, my rant. So I got bored during part of the movie and then fired up at the end because I was like, I get it's easy to be like, Mama had to. Like, she's put in this terrible position where it's like her daughter's life, or she now helps murder people. And I was just like, how limiting on a woman. Like, if this were a dad in the movie, would it be like the dad gave in and now this is what he does to keep his daughter alive? It's like, no, he agrees in the moment and then he fucks shit up. Like, none of that tracked for me. And I was like,
the passivity of the mom
yeah.
character.
I was like, I get it, you're tied up. You have to say what you need to say. Say it. But you're not going to go, 20 years? However long it was, just being Satan's pawn to have your daughter live with Satan in her. Like, you're going to go,
Yeah.
no, obviously now I have to defeat Satan. And that's what you do. Or
Yeah.
you're like, take my life, not hers, or whatever.
I read it as that she just like wanted to do it.
Well, then that would, I did not read
I
it like
definitely
that at
felt
all.
that it developed into that because she
Yeah.
seemed very upset like the first time that it happened. You know, when she's getting in her car and she's like freaking out, the flashback scene with the
Yeah.
mom. But by the end, I mean,
Yeah, I
when
think-
she's in the birthday party, she was just like kind of smirking in the chair, just like, this is fun for me.
She didn't
See, now,
need to
I'm-
kill that other agent lady. Like
No.
she's,
Oh,
yeah.
I would say she
Well,
was
now she's just killing.
That's to say is I think that she
Yeah.
just like became satanic. Like she got fully corrupted.
She did
Well-
well, and because there was the line about like from Longlegs, I think that was like, when you decided to go into law enforcement, we laughed about it.
Yeah.
And it's like I think that was he and her mom sitting
Well-
in the basement, like sharing some yucks.
Also, I thought about that too, but I'm also like, that's coming from Longlegs,
Yeah.
and so men always say that people are laughing at their jokes. So I was like, But I do like that more, and also it makes her even worse because the whole time she's like, "Are you saying your prayers? I would do anything for you to be able to live." And that I didn't pick up on her like liking it, but that makes sense, and I kind of like the twistiness of that a little more because she's fucked up.
Yeah,
and saying, "Oh, it's your fault, daughter, that I'm doing this," when she's doing it.
Like, I read her as that she's still extremely religious. She's just like a Satanist now.
Yeah.
But that's just, I've only seen it once. I didn't go see it twice or see it and then
1.5 times.
sleep through it
Yeah.
and let it wash over me
Expensive
a second
nap.
time. I was thinking about that. I think Osgood Perkins kind of has some weird shit going on with women.
Yeah, well, I was going to say that I think a lot of the themes of his movies are about corruption, people becoming corrupted. So it's less about kind of your natural state, if such a thing even exists in his movies, and more just like, I've succumbed to this evil influence and now I am part of it. Mm-hmm. It's like about the change, the degradation of these characters and like their moral fiber.
My own personal brand.
Fiber! One more thing I want to talk about is, because I did kind of read this as a movie that doesn't really make a lot of sense. And Brett was talking about how a lot of it felt like homages to like 70s horror, which a lot of that 70s movies in general are more vibes based.
Yes.
And
very different pacing. They take a lot longer with their
a lot of weird talking, like dialogue that doesn't necessarily lead anywhere, but
or like
it's
5
just
minutes
upsetting.
of no dialogue and it's just kind of establishing shots of somewhere.
Totally. And I do think there was a lot of that in this, which I think is one of the reasons why it didn't bother me. That like the twist, whatever, like a lot of it didn't make a ton of sense. Like, I didn't want my Longlegs backstory. I don't want to know how this glam rock doll weirdo became the way he is and got all this plastic surgery and lived in this, I guess we did find out how he lived in that basement. But
yes,
like, presumably he's just been there since she was a little girl.
I think that's what happened, yeah.
Just always there? I don't know. So...
Well, and I think that there was also, like, because she was made to forget all that stuff by that, like, when the doll's
smoke.
brain, was broken and the smoke was released, then she got those memories back.
Is that why she's
think.
weird?
Yes.
I was gonna say, I know.
In my opinion.
I was wondering if it was because she was doll the whole time. I was like, she's doll person.
Well, because she grew up in that house with the doll in the basement. So I definitely think
she's just semi-catatonic.
kind of like there is a Lee Harker or whatever, but it's not. She's never had full control like since she was a child. She's been kind of in the passenger seat of like her own life, I think.
She's just like Xanned out by Satan.
Yeah, basically. That's how I read it.
Doesn't seem that bad.
No, it seemed better than the alternative. Like, she was having a better time when she didn't know.
Yeah.
Than at the end when she had to, like, kill her mom.
And she actually starts showing, like, emotion and screaming. And
Right. She becomes,
Because even when she watches Longlegs have a weird time and
have a moment with the table, maybe?
Have a little close and personal moment with a table. She's not, like... She still seems, like, subdued, but maybe, like...
Yeah.
Like, she's freaked out.
She is, yeah. She backs against the wall, but you're right.
Yeah.
She's not, like...
She's not, like, screaming like she is at the end of the movie after her doll brain is released. Again, I love weird shit like that. Like,
I'm fine with it.
Who are we to understand how satanic magic works? Like...
It takes years of study to do that, and frankly... I've already been to school. I'm done.
I've already had enough school.
I can barely read cursive. I'm not reading, like, glyphs on a Necronomicon.
No.
I'm not fucking learning Latin.
I'll listen to someone else reading it at, like, 1.5 speed. That's the level of effort you'll get from me.
Do you think if, like, okay, so, like, let's say you find a Necronomicon that's in, like, Latin.
Okay.
Did you guys take Latin? We went to a fancy school that had Latin. I didn't take
I
it.
did at a different school.
Did not.
So you took Latin. So, like...
Just a couple years.
So you probably wouldn't mispronounce things, but if someone like me or Sam, who just, like, we don't know how to Latin, if you're, like, reading it super wrong and mispronouncing everything, do you still think it works to summon?
No.
Oh, I was going to say yes.
Oh, I say no.
So you think it's, like, the intent?
Intention, yeah.
See, I'm kind of with you, Sam. Like, I don't know.
I think it's, like, you have to know what it means and say it with intention, and the pronunciation doesn't matter.
So, but
is
if
what
you're
I
just
would
like
say.
some jackass in a cabin and you find this book and you're just like, I'm
See,
going to read this.
And that's why I don't think it would work. But it's not about the pronunciation. It's because you don't know what it
Intent.
means. You don't have that intent that you need to like cast the spell.
Okay, but if I was like, I found this book that I think can summon like deadites or whatever, and I can't read Latin, I don't know how to decline. This is what I know about Latin. I don't know how to decline my nouns, and
You fool.
I'm gonna mispronounce everything. You still think it could work because I believe,
Yeah.
even though you actually don't believe in it.
Yes.
I'm more like if you're trying to play a piece and you're reading the music and you play it wrong, you're the whole thing isn't wrong, but I don't know. I feel like with the chant, you got to get the chant right. Like I don't
You just
know.
summon the wrong thing.
Yeah, I'm like it's kind of Charmed. Like if they did something slightly wrong, sometimes the spells didn't work right, and that's kind of
Okay.
where I'm at.
And then they have just like wacky body swap.
Yeah.
Turn into a mermaid or whatever.
That was a
Did that
finale.
happen?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I never watched Charmed.
That's fine.
Like, remember, I was only allowed to watch PBS until like last year. So
Charm is
Am I-
actually kind of a fun rewatch. Also, just because it's like, oh god, it's like so bad in
Yes.
ways that have aged so poorly.
oh great.
Also, just knowing how much like Alyssa Milano was a
Terrorizing
Yeah, she was
everyone.
Oh, was
terrorizing
she?
everyone.
We got hints at it, but bless Shannon Doherty.
Okay, so I
Friend
heard
of the pod.
I heard that
yeah.
friend of the pod.
Friend of the
Oh,
pod.
you're right.
So
Love her.
when Shannon Doherty, friend of the pod, passed, I heard that she had a list of people who she didn't want to attend her funeral.
Incredible.
Was Alyssa Milano on that list?
I'm sure.
bet.
Like,
Someone release the list.
please, I want to know.
We don't need Epstein's
I was gonna say we don't
list.
need the fight logs.
We
don't
need
any
the
of that.
Shannon Doherty like shade list.
Yes.
I want to know.
And you know she wants it out.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah,
this would be her wishes, I'm very sure. As friend of the pod, I would know. She's
That's
a friend of the
true.
pod.
we were invited.
We are not on the bad list.
But we were recording that day, so we couldn't actually attend. But we were invited.
Yeah.
I sent my doll in my stead, so I was half there.
I astral projected in
Aw.
honor of her.
That's so sweet.
You have to be careful with that.
Yeah.
Have you seen the Insidious movies?
No. Oh, fuck. Oh, man.
We should cover that first one at least.
I think it's genuinely
It's good.
scary.
I'm so scared at these faces, or mostly Mel's face I just got.
Well, I think the more horror you watch, the more you'll find that like nothing is as scary as like your imagination
Yes.
of something scary.
Okay.
No movie will ever be as scary as like you think the scariest movie ever would be.
Yeah, so
in my opinion.
we were talking, not to out Sam, but we were talking about like Sam has made herself a little bit anxious
Yeah.
about a certain movie called The Ring,
Correct.
which to be fair, when did The Ring come out? Were we like
It was 2002, I think.
so we were like 12, you guys were like
Yeah.
11?
Yes.
And
This
that,
was one told to me on the bus.
that movie I went and saw in theaters. Of course I did when it came
God.
out.
I would have died.
And I remember coming home and being like, psh, like that wasn't that bad. And then at that time, because I'm super normal and this is fine, I would just sleep in. My parents had like a home theater, and I didn't sleep in my bedroom. I slept on the floor of the home theater, just like watching movies all night, like every night, like
Yeah.
school night, whatever. And it would have like a blue screen because it was a projector when like nothing was on it. And I realized I like couldn't do that
Yeah.
after The Ring, at least for a little while. Like it did actually impact me. And we don't have
Yeah.
this problem anymore, but like
Plus,
the
many
static
reasons.
on the TV, like to me, I can't see that without thinking of The Ring.
I think of
Well,
The Ring
after-
and Poltergeist and
Oh, yeah.
After I was
static.
told The Ring, I did have a little TV in my room and it would static and I was very nervous. But yeah, I think Mel, what you're alluding to is I'm scared of rings right now. But to give more clarification, like any old ring, like the clock is a circle ring. I'm fine. But it's more if it's like a creepy like bleeding out ring, then I'm like, that's a
Okay.
spooky ring. And I don't like it. And I don't need to be near it.
Yeah.
well,
I think that is just good common sense, frankly.
So-
Just steer clear of spooky rings, not because of the movie The Ring, but just
I just think that when
Give it a
you
wide berth.
finally do see The Ring, you're gonna realize like it is effective. It's a well-crafted,
yeah.
scary, like
and you'll probably be creeped out, but you'll realize that it's not like you're not about to like have a heart attack and like it's not gonna haunt your every waking moment.
It's a remake
For my blood pressure cup. Yeah. My blood pressure cup.
It's like a diva cup
Yeah.
for your heart.
No. Maybe.
Yeah, it's like of the J-horror remakes, I think it's one of the better ones.
For sure. It's
but
so good.
It's still, like, it's so dated. Like, it's just not going to be as scary as this thing you've constructed.
Yeah.
Good. I'm happy I've grown up enough as a woman in my 30s that I may be able to see it.
I do think Insidious is going to scare you, though.
Okay. Okay.
I think The Ring, maybe not.
I
but-
do need a little credit for Longlegs, that jump scare in the when she opens the chest and looks at the photo.
Yeah, that's
I
the
did
one
not fucking flinch. I looked at it with my
Really?
eyes and I was like, oh.
What was
Because
the
people
jump
in our
scare?
theater like screamed.
Yes, and mine too.
was
When
The
she's looking through
vapor.
the chest and she's like looking through, and then there's just like a, what was it, like a face or something?
It was just like a flash of like
Yeah, something.
Longlegs' face, and in my head it's like red and stuff. But it was just
Yeah.
like a jump scare. And
Oh, it was like a flashback to when she realizes she had seen Longlegs.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, just going through the chest that she took from her mom's.
and multiple
And
people screamed.
Yeah, people screamed in our theater.
And I was there by myself, and I was like, I didn't fucking flinch. And I was like, I can't wait to tell them that I did it.
That's good because that means that you're like, you were less affected than just like the random people who chose, the random sickos who chose to see Longlegs on like opening night.
You broke me.
Oh, this is my
thank
greatest
you.
achievement.
I'm actually proud of you.
Me too. Because I flinched a little bit at that jump scare, I think. I mean, I wasn't like terrified, but it startled me.
I mean, I get startled. Jump scares. I'm not a huge jump scare person. This movie didn't have too many.
No, that's why that one was so effective because
Yeah.
it wasn't.
I think that they're more effective when used sparingly. And I do think that
I agree.
Oz Perkins is a masterful. This is where I think he really shines in creating sort of like spooky, scary atmosphere.
Yes.
Like, I just think he's so good at it.
I
He
agree.
could like look at any building and be like, I could make this threatening. Like any space. Like
I bet
he's-
you're right. Yeah.
Like, I don't know if I would say he's the best at making like people creepy. Like, I think he's
Yeah.
good at it. I wouldn't say he's like the best.
Yeah.
But I'd say he's probably like maybe the best at making like a space seem threatening.
I actually think I totally agree. That is really his like gift as a filmmaker, is just like how he can create and sustain this atmosphere of dread, where nothing has to be in the frame at all. There didn't have to be anything. Like, there are so many moments in the movie where I was like, oh god, there's gonna be someone in the background, or like someone's
right.
gonna, and it like basically didn't happen.
There's this like super zoomed out shot where she's just on a payphone talking to her mom.
Yeah, in like a
And-
basement, or not basement, but like downstairs area of
Yeah.
wherever that was.
It just looks like any given like public building.
Yes.
Like it's maybe like the FBI building or a courthouse or something.
Yes.
And it's just this like big wide shot. And there's nothing menacing actually happening except the phone call she's having.
Right.
But we're so focused on looking at every
Yeah.
corner that it gets you.
Or there's something on the
worked
stairs,
up.
or there's something over there. Yeah.
At any given moment, because he also has moments where there are things
Yeah.
looming in those flat shots. So
Yeah.
it keeps you sort of on your toes, which I think is so smart. Because I get
agree.
really annoyed when there's some, we'll just say like less well-crafted horror movies where it's just like the music starts quieting and then it's building and then there's a loud sting and you've been startled.
Yes.
Screech and grab your, like person next to you in the theater and you giggle because you got
Whoever
startled.
they are.
Right.
Yeah, like some random person.
Yeah.
Some teenagers on TikTok. Yeah, you should have just started like muttering about Satan.
I really should have. Next
They would have
time.
moved or just recorded you.
Yeah, I think the
Maybe both.
I think the tension that he creates is so effective because I think with a lot of horror movies, it's about building the tension, and then when you hit them with the jump scare, that's a release of tension because
Yeah.
that's when you're like scream or laugh or like turn to your buddy, turn to your TikTok buddy. But if you don't get a lot of jump scares and the tension never releases, it does. It just keeps either building or
Yeah.
sustaining, and you never get that like.
Edging.
Yeah, it's just edging.
Yeah.
Oz Perkins will edge you.
He will edge you till
Edgiest
you
movie of the year.
Goon. Wait, what is gooning? Wait, never mind.
Gooning is
Sorry.
is jorking your peanut.
Right.
What?
But is it? But how does gooning relate to edging? That's
you
what I
can
want to know.
okay, so you can edge while you goon.
Okay.
And you can goon while you edge. But they're different acts.
Okay.
Edging is when you don't come.
Yeah.
I'm doing this motion. My hand is moving back and forth. Gooning is jorking your peanuts.
Your what?
All right, thank you. Yeah,
And
I was
that
curious.
is sex talk. Because friend of the pod, Dr. Ruth,
Oh.
fucking died.
Friend of
Oh
the pod.
yeah. Oh, I have a note here. If we want to talk about it, I don't know. We've been talking about atmosphere. I was like, atmospheric versus scary. Like, what's the
Yeah.
difference to you guys? And like, which is there a difference? Because for me, I'm like, the closest I come as a desensitized, like I've seen everything, to being scared by a movie is probably to be unsettled by the atmosphere.
Yeah.
That's to me, that's a scary movie. If something startles me or a jump scare, I'm not scared of that. Or like, I jump in the theater and then the tension is released and like I don't go home like, oh God, there's gonna be a scary monster in the corner. It's all about the atmosphere for me.
I don't think a movie can be like, at least as you just said, maybe just to reiterate it, like, yes, there are like startling loud noises or things that leap at the screen
Right, where I will jump.
that you can jump,
But I wouldn't say
it's-
that's scary.
It's not like lasting terror. It's just you're getting startled. I am not a huge fan of this. To me, it just feels kind of cheap, but it serves its purpose. Teenagers, it's for you. And enjoy your Blumhouse. Eat up your trash.
Eat your
piggies.
slop.
Slop up your slop, you fucking pigs. Enjoy your shit.
Okay.
But for,
Now, would a pig goon or hedge?
Okay, so pigging is...
I'm canceling myself. Goodbye.
So, like, I totally agree. Like, for me to actually be unsettled or scared by a movie, like, I really need it to have a full creepy atmosphere. Like just unsettling in general. And it doesn't have to be dark and spooky. Foreshadowing for a future episode.
I'll put in a foreshadowing sound effect.
But, like, even when we were watching Jaws,
Yeah.
right? Check out our Jaws episode. There is so much good suspense built up in that through the idea of you're looking at open water that you cannot see through. There is music playing that is hinting to you, the audience, that there is something dangerous in that water. You don't know where it is, and sometimes it doesn't show up.
Right, and it might not even be there at all, but it could be.
You might just be edging with your shark.
I was like, I need y'all to stop talking about my anxiety.
Is that what it feels like?
Yes.
There's definitely a shark in the water somewhere, but you don't know where it is. But
Right.
the music is playing.
Be on alert. But yeah. Oh, my turn. Yeah, I'm full on with atmospheric. I mean, that's if I'm gonna be scared, I want the full feeling. I don't know, and I think that's part of the
Yeah.
beauty too. Like if you're not fully like, I like the music of it all. I like the I was gonna say the color scheme, the
I think
color
that's-
palette.
yeah,
like,
totally.
I think that's very
I
valid
want
for this movie.
I'm back to vibes. I want the vibes, and I want to be in it. And I will say, this movie was very atmospheric, and I did enjoy that, and I could really appreciate that the second time I watched it. Did you know I watched this movie 2 times? I have not mentioned it ever.
No, you haven't. But now you just need to mention it again, and you'll mention it 2 times. I'm cutting this out so hard.
You're beautiful.
No, I'm not. My mom's dad had a saying that was like, the mouth is moving before the brain is engaged. And I think that was a clear example of that.
I think
Well,
if you mention it every other month within increments of 1 to 6 days, you'll summon watching the movie again.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God, you cracked the algorithm. Also, nobody batted an eye
No
in the
one.
movie when there was this impenetrable code that no one knew how to solve.
14-year cold case.
She solves it on her fucking lunch break, and no one like bats an eye. They're just like, oh, okay. And then at the end, her boss is so mad at her, and I'm like, what do you mean? She cracked the code. She found him. She apprehended him. Like, she did everything that you couldn't do that you wanted her to do, and now you're like, fuck you, because he smashed his face on the table.
Which she
Right,
didn't.
but
she
she
didn't
didn't-
goad him into that.
No, I
She
know.
wasn't like,
It was
bitch,
her
you
fault.
won't.
She made him feel that way.
I was like, he is
It's her
so mad at
fault.
her for like saving his ass and solving his fucking case.
Do you think that he was already like succumbing
I was thinking about
to
that. I
the
think maybe.
Satan at that point?
I
that-
don't.
Yeah,
I
no.
don't think they
Oh.
do until the doll is in the house, but I don't know the timeline. So if the doll was already delivered, but I thought the mom delivered it to the birthday
but
party, so
one
it
of
wasn't
my-
in the house before.
Well, one of my questions, I'm like, did the mom only ever show up once? Because it was kind of like, oh, you're back, and we want a doll this time. Like, I think it's just one of those things we won't know. But I thought about that too. I was like, was he already succumbing to Satan at that point?
Does the doll have to be in your house?
I think the doll has to be in your house.
If someone shows up at your house and you're like, you won, the church is giving you a gift, and it's a giant trunk, does it need to be the 90s for you to, like, be open to letting that person in your home?
I get one, like, yeah, she's like a fairly non-threatening looking
She's like
white
in a nun
lady.
outfit.
Yeah, but
I would not.
I'm not letting anyone in my home.
But even like, yeah, and I'm gonna like, I'll be like, thank you. You can leave it on the porch, and then maybe like look in the trunk and see, because I'm like, I'm not just gonna bring it into my house. Sight a trunk full of something.
But
I want to see what that something is before I bring it into my house. What if it's roaches?
it is roaches. That's how they get in. But also,
That's how
it.
it happens. Okay.
but also, like, what if the doll's magic starts like when she knocks and like that's when it begins.
Yeah.
So you're like, you're gonna invite her
Oh
in.
well, that's a good point. It's already at the house, so maybe the devil can already influence you and like.
See how much better this movie gets the more we try to figure it out. Yeah, a
Honest-
little bit,
Well,
I guess.
I mean,
Honestly-
yeah. I think
I
we're
take
solving
it all
some
back,
stuff.
Oz Perkins. You're not just a Nepo baby.
Yeah.
You're good. You know what I did really like? This is totally separate, but it is talking about direction.
Okay.
Is when you start the movie and it's in the sort of like Super 8 like
Yeah.
aspect ratio.
Almost like square.
Yeah, it's like in the square sort of like shot on home video sort of square aspect ratio, and we're like in the theater, and like I knew that it had to be on purpose, but I was like, did they like fuck up the aspect ratio on this? And then after the scene, it slowly
Loved it.
starts
I did love that.
Loved it.
filling the screen, because I think if it had like, oh, there's the startling, and then it like fades to black, and then it just opens up on like the full screen, it wouldn't have been.
It would have felt
as
like a
eff-
mistake, maybe, or just been like, oh, I don't get it.
Well, it just also would have been like so, like against the slow sort of like creeping vibes of this movie. Like
It
I think
helps set the atmosphere.
yes,
Yeah.
like he's a man who atmospheres. I'll give him that.
Me too.
If y'all haven't seen this yet and you've already listened to the whole plot and you're not sure if you want to see it, just if you're interested in atmosphere,
Yeah.
like I'm totally gonna rewatch it again.
Yeah.
Like I love.
Me too. I could use another nap.
I mean, honestly, this is the kind of movie that I'd put on while I'm like playing video games and I'm just chilling.
Yeah.
Have a beer, like have it sort of just on, vibing. Oh, Nicolas Cage is on the screen. Turn over and you look at it,
Yeah.
screaming.
Oh,
being
his head
crazy.
is so smashed on that table.
Yeah.
That's pretty gnarly.
Yeah.
Oh.
I didn't look the second
That
time.
that was probably the most intense, like visceral scene, was him slamming his head repeatedly against the table till he dies.
Yeah.
And she's just like spattered with his blood, like in her little white shirt.
Yeah, she's like a little white shirt that's just like, ugh.
Yeah, that was really well
Covered
done,
in
because I could like see it coming, but then the way they executed it was so nasty that it was just as effective as if it had been a surprise. Yeah, but yeah, I agree. Check it out, even if you don't see it in theaters. Like once it's on streaming or whatever, give it a look. If you like a slow burn, atmospheric something, and you don't need your movies to make a lot of sense.
Yeah, this is.
It's not nonsense, but just like
I've seen way more nonsensical movies. Shout out to the 70s.
I was gonna say Arcadian. Speaking of Nicolas Cage, the movie was bad.
And not well shot. But like, yeah, and this movie gifted Brett and I something really special, which is we have fully adopted into our lexicon Hail Satan.
Mwah.
Wasn't it the like Avengers like cutscene? Was him just
Yes.
being like Hail Satan? Mwah.
It was. That was like the very end of the movie.
I loved
was him
it.
and- yeah, me
It just
too.
shows. It's like I don't know. Like Oz Perkins fucking gets it.
Yeah,
like he was
well,
having a great time with it.
And that's what I think would be easy to miss is like, yes, it is a very dour, slow, atmospheric, violent movie, but it's still fun. And like, I don't think it's wrong to like laugh when Nicolas Cage is like having his car melt down. I mean, there's lots of different reasons why you could. I was laughing a bit just because I was like uncomfortable and I was like, Oh my God, imagine just like that person passing you on the road.
I was like, been there.
You just hear the Doppler effect of like, Daddy! Is it just like whooshes past you?
What would really happen is Sam would be behind the car, tailgating but getting pissed, and I would be passing the
Drag
car,
her.
rolling down my window, and yelling, "Get in the right lane," because we are Dallas drivers.
That's right.
Yeah.
Part of the problem.
And I'd have already forced him off the road in a pit maneuver. So.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes you just gotta pit the long legs. Pit him off the road.
Ain't that the truth? All right, I guess
That's
we're
all
ready
I
to
got.
wrap up.
Oh,
what's
yeah, is it gay?
Is it gay? Who's gay?
It's not that gay.
No.
Despite the trans panic
Yeah.
that a few people felt for moments.
That was truly it for me, yeah.
There's nothing super gay about this. I mean, glam rock's kind of gay.
Yeah,
But
I
it's
felt-
also kind of super straight, so I don't know.
I thought the mom was kind of gay.
Yeah,
I don't know. Not that it made the movie gay, but just
Gay
like
for
I could-
Satan.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah. Not very gay, which is fine.
Yeah.
I don't need
Maybe the
gay.
first guy was gay.
Maybe.
We don't know, but he died. So
He did.
That does track.
Fellas, is it gay to die? Leave a comment down below.
Is it gay to let a nun in your house with a box?
I would say yes.
Yeah?
Well, and okay, you know what? we're picking up points.
Okay.
I'm gonna give this 1 haunted doll out of 16 birthdays.
All right. I will give this 2 smoke monster doll brains out of 7
On the gay scale? Okay.
on the gay scale.
I'm just gonna give it a 0. Because
Yeah.
in my notes I wrote not gay.
It's
Yeah.
not.
So I'll just stand by that.
This
I
is
think that's fair.
this is disgustingly hetero movie. But even not
Yeah.
really. It's just sort of ace.
Yeah, it is more ace than anything. There's no
It hates families. It
Yeah.
hates sex. This is a
there's no sexual tension between any
No.
characters at all in the whole movie.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't normally see that. Loathing. What's the loathing of it all? What do we loathe?
I did loathe the thing I ranted about, but I'm less loathing about it now. I feel better. I think I just needed to discuss with you.
Discuss.
You just thought that she was too eager to.
I was like, bitch.
You want her
You
to
don't
go-
have to do what you said you were going to.
Yeah.
Like, you can lie to Satan.
If
Maybe-
anything, he'd respect it.
Right. Just fights.
Famously his thing.
Yeah.
I don't think
there's anything I loathed.
I didn't really loathe anything. I mean,
No.
it could have been a better movie, but it honestly could have been a lot worse.
And I didn't feel let down at the end. I left being like, oh yeah, that was
I love
that.
that.
Solid.
I love the ending.
The creepy
love the
family
mom.
possession thing, yeah, was like that was maybe the most overtly like scary. Like besides atmosphere, like the most scary part I think was that last scene where like, oh, also so funny in the most fucked up way when the dad's like, I'm gonna go in the kitchen. The mom's like, I'll join you. I'll be right back. And he goes, no, you won't. And then he murders her in the kitchen.
I guess if I
That's funny.
had to pick a loathe, I don't know if we needed the other family murder scene because it shows us the one,
Yeah, that flashback.
the
to, like,
flashback one where, to be fair, I was just so confused because like I didn't.
There's amazing creepy imagery in that.
It was really
though.
creepy, but I don't know. I guess I'm fine with it. Like, because at that point you don't know what's going on, but you never really do, and I'm down to be just confused by Satan. So
Me too.
Yeah.
Satan, if you're listening, come confuse me.
not
Satan, I'm
gay.
gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
You're gonna lie to Satan?
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, totally, I'll work with you.
Sure.
And then you go on Glassdoor.
Oddly enough, his Glassdoor reviews, impeccable. Where can people find us? Well, thank you for asking, Brett. They can find us on Gmail at queerandloathingpod@gmail.com. You can email us feedback or suggestions for movies you'd like to hear us cover. You can find us on Instagram at queerandloathingpod. We're
Yep.
on Letterboxd at various accounts.
I'm Hater Tot.
I'm 666 bitch.
I'm Samantha.
Yeah. So follow us on all of those. Just flood us with comments and engagements and likes and subscribes and reviews.
Hit
But
the
nothing
bell.
mean. Hit the bell.
Yeah, we're on YouTube.
We are. You can actually leave a comment below this video.
Hi.
Great. All right. Well, I've overstayed my welcome here. Until next time,
I'm queer.
I'm Loathing.
And I'm Samantha.
Bye.
Mwah.